Okay, happy midweek, everybody. Okay, let me just share my trade idea right away. Okay, so Aussie CAD, time to make a comeback. All right. So you know what? Let's just go straight to the chart. All right. So as you guys can see that the Australian dollar has been trading pretty low, I would say, okay, against the Canadian dollar since the start of the year. As you can see over here, indicated by the blue vertical line, beginning of 2021, okay, it's a clear downtrend, okay. So reason being was that, the Bank of Canada has actually already tapered twice this year, okay. I think once back in April, another time back in July, okay. Whereas the Reserve Bank of Australia up to now, okay, has not carried out any form of tapering yet, okay. So that's one thing. Second thing, it's Delta variant related, all right. So the COVID cases in Canada has been contained, I would say, pretty well, okay. The progress made in Canada has been very good in terms of containment, whereas over in Australia, okay, I think it was in around late July, late July or something, where the Delta variant actually, unfortunately caused a spike in cases, okay? So that actually led to more lockdown measures, restrictions being carried out across Australia, okay? Hence, the further weakening of the Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar. So we see a strong downtrend. Now, most of the time, okay, we don't see a trend last forever, all right? I mean, there must be a lowest point, right? In this case, what I've spotted is, let me change to H4. So this trade idea was actually issued out based on a H4 time frame, okay? So as you can see, as marked by the blue line here, okay, there's actually a double bottom, all right? So I think it was back in July, right? July's meeting or August meeting. I think it was back in July's meeting that the Reserve Bank of Australia actually announced a tapering, okay, in that will be carried out in September, okay, once the current round of QE ends, okay. Then in August, well, shortly after, the whole COVID Delta variant hits, and there was a rise in cases, okay. So the market was actually a bit skeptical, okay, on the RBA's decision to, to carry on with the QE tapering in September. But however, okay, in August, the RBA decides that, you know what, we are going to carry on with the whole tapering, okay, because the economic recovery in Australia has been very robust, okay, and they are actually projecting 2022 growth to be stronger, okay. So with that, they actually decide to move on to proceed with their plan of QE tapering in September, early September. Well, I don't think it's like first week of September, okay, probably like mid-September or something, okay. So that actually led to, of course, that hawkish, I would say, that hawkish meeting, okay, back in August, actually led to a strengthening in the Canadian dollar. So we can see that over here, marked by the orange line, 0.91 handle, is actually like the lowest level, okay, being traded this year, right? So my speculation is that this is actually the bottom. The bottom, well, the lowest for now that the Australian CAD will be trading at, okay? So there's a two bounce, there are actually two bounces off from close to this level, okay, which marks the double bottom pattern, okay? So I actually set a buy stop order at 0.922. I think it actually got hit last Friday, okay? Last Friday, right around this region here. Okay, so at the moment, it's actually still hovering around like the break-even level, probably got like a couple of pips profit and things like that. So the RBA will actually be meeting next week, okay? So my take is that if they were to, chances are they will, okay? Unlikely they're going to make any last-minute changes to their plans, but if the RBA were to proceed with QE tapering next week, okay, then we may very well be seeing a stronger Australian dollar, okay, as at least when traded against the Canadian dollar. All right. Now, if you guys actually took this trade, pay attention to what's going to happen today, okay? Because there will be a OPEC plus meeting. So at the moment, it's it's trading around break even or like probably like a couple of pips profit. If you guys are risk averse, I suggest that you guys actually close the trade now. All right, because nobody knows what's going to happen at OPEC plus. Like I mentioned yesterday, during the OPEC plus meeting, sort of like a prep video kind of thing. They may actually be reconsidering the production hike that they actually set out back in August, sorry. Okay, so if they were to do that, if they were to actually revert their hike in production, then that may actually cause price movements in oil, which directly impacts the Canadian dollar. Okay, so whatever decision they make, okay, it's likely going to impact the Canadian dollar. Okay, so to be honest, the stop loss being set for this trade idea is 140 pips. Personally, based on my experience, unlikely the news is going to, bring Aussie CAD down to stop loss. Okay, but like as Scott has mentioned, this is a longer term trade, so people who are not psychologically prepared for this whole roller coaster ride across maybe a week or two, okay, before making some profit, may want to actually close the trade right now. All right. Otherwise, you guys actually, my personal view is that Aussie CAD is likely going to strengthen because of the RBA's optimistic outlook on the Australian economy. Okay, and of course they're likely going to carry on with the QE tapering probably like next week or something. Okay, so yeah, that's all I have to share for Aussie CAD. And yeah, take note of the OPEC plus meeting that will be held today. The time is forever going to be like tentative. Okay. Then otherwise, I will be updating you guys tomorrow on what actually went down during the meeting. Okay. With that, I will hand it back to Scott.
Hey, Gim Hong, before you hand it back to Scott, we've got some questions about your New Zealand Swiss franc trade idea. Do you want to give an update on that as well, please?
Okay. Yes, I just looked at the New Zealand francs. You know what? Let me just look for the chart. That's what happened when you have like tons of charts going on and New Zealand francs. Okay. So what's the question regarding again? Let me check.
Your trade idea to buy at your buy stop at 0.6380. If we've got a few people who are following you on that trade, would you say hold on towards the take profit, or would you say close out, or would you say what to do? Okay, so
personally, I would say I will hold on to it. Why is that the case? Because there's no fundamental change at the moment when it comes to the New Zealand dollar. Okay. Personally, I just feel that New Zealand dollar keeps getting stronger and stronger. Okay. First of all, yes, it was a disappointment that they did not hike rate. Okay. But then the assistant governor Hawkesby actually came out to clarify that the decision to actually not hike rate was not due to COVID. It was actually due to a communication issue. Okay, because during the day of the lockdown of New Zealand, it's not very nice to actually announce something major, something that has major impact like a hike in interest rate on the same day, right? So I would take it as a postponement of the announcement. Okay, now on top of that, Hawkesby actually mentioned that the board was actually discussing an interest rate hike of 0.5%, okay, as opposed to the market sentiment that they are actually discussing about a 0.25% hike. Okay, that further adds on to the hawkishness of the New Zealand dollar. As you can see, this is like the daily. This is the daily time frame, okay, that you're looking at right now. You can see that for the past 10 days. There's only like one day that the New Zealand dollar actually traded slightly lower against the francs. Okay. Now, another reason is that the New Zealand dollar is trading against the francs. So the francs in general is a safe haven currency. Right now at New Zealand, okay, if things are under control in terms of the pandemic, and the economy has been doing well. Central banks are actually throwing out hawkish messages, announcements, and things like that. Then we will definitely be seeing a risk-on sentiment on the New Zealand dollar against safe haven assets like the Switzerland francs. Okay, so from the Switzerland side point of view, the economic data releases from Switzerland most of the time is unlikely going to cause much impact on the Swiss francs, to be honest. Okay, so which is why I'm very confident that we can further hold on to New Zealand francs for until I deem that it's unlikely going to be moving much further and things like that. Then I will be actually indicating in the post in Traders Club Facebook group and the ECOFIN, asking you guys to close. Okay, which is why it's important to just sign up for the club and you will get notification from me. But yeah, thank you for your questions.
I've got one more question. Would you move your stop loss up to break even or a bit higher than that?
Okay, this is a very good question. All right, I will not do it. Okay, personally, I will not do it. But okay, this is actually a very good risk management tool from my point of view. All right, say for example, right now, my stop loss is below the lowest level in 2021. It's definitely much safer than any level above it, right? So it's 160 pips. Now, right now we are making some 70 pips. Okay, if you want to shift your stop loss up, okay, there are many ways to go about doing it. I'm not going to go through the whole theory behind it. All right, so if you were to, some people will actually bring the stop loss up to the break even level, which can actually be a good thing, but bear in mind that if New Zealand francs were to reverse, okay, from now on, touch wood, and hit your stop loss, you will be getting nothing. It's pretty much like a all or nothing kind of scenario, right? However, if you were to leave your stop loss at this strong level over here, okay, if New Zealand francs were to take a slight reverse right now, going back to break even, or maybe in some negative pips, okay, then what we are doing is we are actually giving it a chance to rebound back upwards. All right, so personally, I will not shift it because the fundamental for New Zealand dollar is very, very strong right now. And I mean, you can see that, okay, technical wise, indicator wise, you can see that our MACD indicators are showing a strong upward momentum. Okay, if you look at stochastic, yes, it's at oversold, but remember, okay, oversold does not mean that it's ready for a reversal. Okay, that's a very important point right there. All right, so personally, no, but if you are risk averse, you know what, take the profit and yeah, just close it. But I mean, at the moment, there's no major news coming up and things like that, right? So why would you, how do you actually justify that? How do you justify your actions of closing? Which is why I choose to hold it. All right. Any more questions?
I have a whole bunch, but I'll give you a chance before this becomes a 1 hour call.
Yeah, before this becomes a mini trader summit kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, I will update you guys again on the OPEC Plus meeting, what went down tomorrow. Okay, and I will hand it back to Scott.